In this section, we will be looking at symbiosis. Anytime there is a close relationship between two species, it is referred to as symbiosis, or a symbiotic relationship. So the term symbiosis refers to any close relationship between two species. Each species often develops specialized behaviors, or specialized life cycles, or structures. There are three different types of symbiotic relationships. The first type is when both species benefit. And when both species benefit, the relationship is referred to as mutualism. This organism here is an example of a mutualistic relationship. This is a lichen. And lichens are actually made up of two different organisms. Lichens are made of a fungus and an algae. So they both live together and they have a symbiotic relationship. And that means they both have to benefit because it's a mutualistic relationship. And in this particular case, the fungus functions to protect the algae. Gives it a home, somewhere safe to live. And the algae is a photosynthetic organism, it's a producer, so it makes food. So they're each providing the other with something. So it's a mutualistic relationship. The second type of symbiotic relationship is when one species benefits and the other is unaffected. And this is referred to as commensalism. An example of commensalism is the relationship between barnacles and the gray whale, shown here. The barnacles live on the gray whale and they feed passively from the water. They're filter feeders. So they're hitching a ride. When they're on the whale is going to move along and lots of water is going to filter through them. This allows them to feed. There's no effect on the gray whales. The gray whales don't care that they're there. They're not harmed in any way. They also don't benefit in any way. Commensalism is much more difficult to demonstrate than mutualism. Often, when people at first, or scientists at first, think that a relationship might be commensalism, they study it further and discover that there is some benefit to both. So it's not truly commensalism. A second example, though, of commensalism is this one. This is egrets, type of bird, and livestock. And what happens here that is, as the cattle graze, they are walking all over the field and they stir up insects. The birds can feed on these insects, so they're benefiting. But not the cattle don't notice. So birds feed on insects. Because the birds, the egrets, benefit and the livestock don't notice, it is commensalism. Over the page we come to our last type of symbiotic relationship, and this one is parasitism. And parasitism refers to any relationship in which one organism benefits, but at a cost. The other one is harmed. So parasitism occurs when one organism lives and feeds on or in another organism, called the host. So there is a parasite and a host. The parasite benefits, and the host is harmed. An example of a parasite you may have heard of before is the tapeworm. The tapeworm is highly specialized to live in mammalian digestive systems. So the digestive system of mammals. And tapeworms live in the digestive system and absorb nutrients from their hosts. So they're stealing your food. This is an image of a tapeworm under a microscope. They have specialized structures. They have hooks and suckers for attaching to host. So as all the food is going to be moving through your digestive system, they need to latch on. So this is the head region of a tapeworm. It's called a scolex, and it's got all these suckers, and it's got hooks here in the middle, and it's going to attach itself into the intestine and stay there. And then all these other little sections are basically reproductive structures. So they're specialized for reproduction. So basically what happens is a tapeworm gets inside somebody and it's absorbing their nutrients, and it just reproduces and reproduces and reproduces, and suddenly there's lots of tapeworms inside that person. Scientists now estimate that as many as 25% of all animal species may be parasites. How can there be so many parasites? What's a possible positive role of parasites? Well, one thing they do is they control the population growth of a species. Preventing that species from becoming too abundant. Parasites typically harm their host but don't kill them. It's not benefit to them if they kill them. They want to be able to absorb nutrients from that host or live on and feed on that host as long as possible. So typically they don't kill them. But if they're going to be feeding on a weak member or someone that's already ill, then they might kill them. So this parasites ensure the survival of the strongest members of a population. The strongest members aren't going to get killed, but the weak ones will be picked off. So those are the three different types of symbiotic relationships. Mutualism, when they both benefit. Commensalism, when one benefits and the other doesn't notice. And parasitism, when one benefits and the other one is harmed. I'd like you to think of some examples, some additional examples of each, and have them for class next day.